Hello, everybody, and good Monday morning to each and every one of you. I'm glad you're here today to join me for another live Q&A. We do these normally on Mondays at noon, and that is now Eastern Time. We are now in September. Today is September 7th. That means tomorrow is my birthday. 44 years old. That is exciting. I don't know. It's like a math number somehow. My kid said I'm super old, but hey, better to be super old by your kid. I don't know. I can't even think of a good phrase there. This is a Q&A where I'll be answering questions about whatever and whenever. So if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them, realizing, of course, that I don't and won't answer every question, and that's just the way it is. But we'll see what happens. So let's see here if anyone has any questions to start with. People were just saying hello and talking about reviews. Alrighty, well, I guess I got time before. There's not a lot of people here yet. That's because in America today is a holiday, Labor Day. Labor Day. That means work hard. Are we going to see another top 30 games the other guys are wrong about? Maybe in the future. We'll see. It's not planned anytime soon. This week is actually our top 10 trick-taking games. Well, that's the only question I got so far. Well, let me see. What else can we talk about? Lots of new games came in. I played several games over the weekend, both with gamers and with my kids. I finally played the Pop-Tart game, and we played the new Animals Upon Animals, so that was fun. And did I ever consider Trey Parker for a guest on the top 10 in Board Game Breakfast before the virus? I considered many, many people for guests before the virus. So who knows? You never know who you might see in the future. I really am trying not to speculate on that because I don't want people to get their hopes up about who would and would not be here. And yeah, so there's lots of people I'd love to have on the show. We'll see as time goes by. Let's see here. Since you designed a game, what books would you recommend an aspiring game designer? Any book that when you open it up has a game inside it. There's good books. Jeff Engelstein wrote some. There's other people who wrote good books. They're fine. I don't know that I'd recommend any book. I don't know if I'd recommend anything. Just play games. If you play a lot of games, that will help with your game design more than anything else. I don't think going to a seminar, when you look at the most famous game designers, I've never heard them say, I read a book or I went to a game design seminar. No, they played games. They played games that inspired them. And I really feel that's what you should do. For those in the UK, yeah, Labor Day is a day that people just take off work to celebrate working somehow. In America, it's the first holiday of the school year. In one of your recent videos, I saw a board game that looked like Apples to Apples. Do you mean Apples, or maybe you mean this Marvel Apples, which I had never heard of, and when I found out about it, I was kind of excited. I'm actually reviewing that this week. That's why it's on the wall here. So keep an eye out for that. What's the story with Titanic on the wall? Well, it's an upcoming review. So when I have games that are going to be reviewed at some point in the future, I stick their covers on the wall. So Gatefall, actually I haven't even played Gatefall yet, but it was a cool looking box. I put that on the wall. Splice Dice, same thing. Then I got a couple Pandasaurus games here, Titanic. Yeah, you can't see the rest of them, but they're there. How come you haven't enjoyed Deep Vents that much? Oh, well, happily, last week I did a mini reviews, and I explained in that review. So you can go check that out. It's like 5 mini reviews from Tom Vasel, something like that. Hey, sounds like your voice is coming back. Guess feeling better. I never felt bad. That's the thing. For some reason, my voice just disappeared for 24 hours. But it has done so on a regular basis for many years. In fact, the 2019 to 2017 period, I didn't lose it, which was weird. But as a kid, I lost my voice on a regular basis once a year. Don't know why. Always felt good. My mom was always happy. Whatever happened to your Sakura Arms review? I made a mistake in it that was big enough. Very rarely make mistakes that I think require the review to come down. That was one of them. And then it just never got re-reviewed. So it's not like many people are asking for it though either. Tom, you have a daughter named Violet. Please tell me at some point in your life you have turned to her, said to her, "You're turning violet, Violet." No, that's not even clever. It's got to be cleverer than that, I would imagine. Are we going to show the components for the 25th anniversary version of Catan? I don't have it, so no. If I get one, is it out yet? I don't know anything about it, actually. What was the best thing you are this weekend? I am a father. And a husband. That's the best thing I was. Well, let me look at this. Catan 25th Anniversary Edition. Maybe that's the one that you're supposed to put those upgraded components in. I don't think it's out yet. Maybe that box will fit in this one. Maybe? It comes with the 5th, 5, and 6 player expansion in it? Who knows? Well, I don't know. Okay, anyway, what was the best thing you ate this weekend? Jason got me some donuts from Mojo Donuts here, which are very delicious. Do you want Dice Tower to be the CNN, Fox News, or New York Times of board games? None of those. Those are all news networks. Now, we have a news network, Dice Tower News and Dice Tower Now, but that's more. I want Dice Tower to be, I want people to think of Dice Tower closer to ABC, CBS, that type of thing, just the whole network itself. He sawed 8? I'm really starting to get confused at some of these comments here. Man, I am keeping up with the questions today. This is exciting. Let me get some. Oh, got the water. Yes. Guess Tom hasn't seen Willy Wonka. Now I am super confused. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Of course I've seen that. Anyway, will you do a spin-off series of 10,000 Below by actually playing some of the games on the list that looked interesting? No, I can't imagine how expensive it would be to find all those. I mean, we might play some of them, but I don't know. Do you own any Apple AirPods? No. I have Bose Bluetooth ones, and they're amazing. So I like those better. I also like when I take them off, they can just sit around my neck. What's my favorite donut flavor? Oh, probably key lime. But I do like peanut butter and jelly a lot. Peanut butter and jelly, key lime. There used to be I also like chocolate cream with vanilla icing. That's very basic. Do you ever wear the same clothes or just keep buying new hats and make it look like you bought new clothes? Oh, yeah, this shirt's like 15 years old. It saddens me it's getting old now. How has Anachrony aged for you? I believe, well, hang on. I can look at this up, actually. It's one of those times where I really like getting asked such a very specific and easy to answer question. 2017, 3 years, it's aged for me. Really looking forward to your review of Fort. I hope you'll be doing it as a group review. We will actually be doing it as a group review because there may be divergent opinions about the game. So that should be interesting. Have you watched Cobra Kai on Netflix? I have not, but I did watch Cobra Kai when it was on YouTube back before it was popular. Hang on, I gotta wear my. I gotta be a little bit more hipster when I say that. How do you come up with new series like 10,000 and Below, Crowdsurfing, and others? Are they brainstorming sessions with the team? Sometimes, but usually it's just me thinking about stuff for a while. This is something I do all the time. Everywhere I go, I'm always thinking about what can I do different and better on the Dice Tower. And different series, coming up with them, because I like series a lot. They give you focus, they give you clarity, they give you something to work on. I've done series of best publishers and best designers and alphabet A through Z. And I thought, you know what, we should take a look at these games that no one else talks about, because I would imagine many people, how do I say this without, I feel like I'm uniquely qualified to be able to do this because so many of these games I've played. Now, granted, there are many I haven't played, but I've yet to do a set of 100 where I haven't played at least 2 or 3 of the games, which I think is probably more than most people, so I thought that might be interesting. It seems we've improved the mic scratching. How did your staff fix the audio quality? It was a tie problem, and I finally figured it out. It was driving me nuts, and it was just basically wire placement and such. So I'm glad to hear that you think it's fixed, because it was really bothering me, but I finally figured it out, I think. Have you watched any marble racing videos on YouTube? Yeah, I think they're fun to watch. Do you miss cons? Oh, yes, I do. Or are you enjoying a bit of rest and less turbulence? Oh, I am, but I really do miss cons. Tom's default flavor for everything, key lime. That ain't far off from the truth. But there's a place, so up in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, at the Reading Market, there is a donut place there, which is possibly the best donuts I've ever had. Better than Voodoo Donuts, better than Mojo Donuts here in Miami, better than the donuts I had as a kid from the local places in Allentown. They're really good. It's a Mennonite bakery, and oh my, I forget the name of it right now. They are so good. And they had a key lime one, and I tried it. I really liked it. They also had a lemon one, which I liked tremendously, and they had a peanut butter and jelly one, which I liked a lot. And frankly, I've probably eaten 10 different donuts there, but that's not the point. The point is the key lime one was good. How about maple bacon donuts? Nah. I really, really feel like this whole bacon thing is overrated, and people eat them just to show that how cool it is. If you like it, so be it, you know, but I just don't care about it. Maple donuts, on the other hand, are quite good. Has Dice Tower reviewed Pokemon TCG? We have, actually. Why is Capstone keeping Cloud Age a secret? Wouldn't that be a better question for Capstone? And I bring this question up, as I always do during these Q&As if I can, to point out that I do not work for any of these companies, so I do not know any of this information. If I do know information about these companies, I tend to share it. And if I do know it, probably you could find it out also. You know, it's not like I'm holding secrets back here. Oh, the violet, you're turning violet. You mean from Willy Wonka? Well, that wasn't very clever in that movie either. Also, I don't want my daughter to be compared to that vile child. Do you know how to ride a bike? Yes. Yes. I would imagine, I guess I shouldn't imagine most people know how to ride a bike, but I assume most people, I know Phoebe from Friends didn't know how to ride a bike, but I would imagine most people know how to ride a bike, right? That's like a rite of childhood. My son just learned to ride his, and now he's riding it very well, and the dog chases him. Yeah, no, that's like one of those things in life I distinctly remember learning. That was like very traumatic, learning how to ride a bike, but I did. I got it, and then I rode my bike all over the place. But nowadays I don't. I bought a bike. I was biking in the area, and then my bike got stolen. Nowadays I don't want a bike. And it's not because I don't want to cycle. It's because around here, there's only 2 places really to cycle. One is all over the streets of Miami area, which I have too many friends who have now gotten accidents that way. It's just too dangerous. I just can't do it. Or I could travel on the bike paths. There's not many of them, but there's one bike path here next to the busway. And it's, if there was one place I would pick to not want to ride a bike, that would be it, unfortunately. Can a cab driver review an F1 car? I guess. I feel like that's a setup type question. Because you say also related to games. Right, so you're going to say, can someone who's not a war gamer review a war game? Yes. Because that's not an equivalent thing. That would be equivalent to say, to someone who likes food, can they review going out to eat at a 5-star restaurant? Why, they certainly can. Could they compare it properly to other 5-star restaurants? No, but they can tell me if they enjoyed the experience or not. Same thing with a cab driver. If he wants to drive an F1 car, he's like, you know what? It wasn't that great of an experience. I'm like, all right, that's useful information to me. Maybe I wouldn't like it either. I don't have to be an F1 driver to get that. And that question, well, not you, I'm sure, but that question is like, it shies real close to snobbery, right? Like only people who really like a certain subject can talk about that subject. And I don't necessarily agree with that. Will I be getting board games for my birthday tomorrow? I doubt it. I haven't got board games for the last decade. My daughter was telling me today how hard it was to buy gifts for me. I really think that's the case to some degree. I don't even know what I want. I'm really content. I got board games. I got good friends. You know what I want is to go back to a convention for this year to be over. But I mean, realistically, I don't know. My kids get me stuff. It's nice. There's just not a lot to get. I mentioned in the past I'd like to go see a Broadway, and some kind listeners have offered to pay for that. It's just that, you know, that's not really an option right now. Well, maybe it is. I don't know, but I don't think so. I like to take my wife out on a date. That's kind of a cool gift, but I can just do that, right? I have what I need. There's a lot of nonsense I could ask for, I suppose. A new house. You know, but I mean, there's stuff like that, but I don't know. Games are definitely not something I want on my birthday. I'm just glad to be with my family, I think. In fact, for that, and I apologize, I originally was scheduled to play some games tomorrow night for the No Strings Attached. And I just didn't want to. I just wanted to go home and hang out with my family. So, sorry about that. I'll do some more videos in the future. But, yeah. I don't know. I got off topic there. But I get that a lot of people want games. And yes, you can argue that, Tom, you get every game that exists practically that comes in. And that is true. Yeah, no, I don't think anyone's going to buy me a game. We missed the live shows at night. Any news on a regular or late show like those? They were popular. Well, they weren't that popular. But we do have No Strings Attached. That happens every once in a while. I just mentioned the 9 o'clock at night thing. Why don't you ever say subscribe to the channel, like the video, or something similar in your videos? Because it's so annoying. Am I the only person who thinks that? I also think it's kind of a rote thing. Like, hey, did you like this video? Like and subscribe. Click the bell. And yeah, I might lose out on some subscriptions by not saying that, but I hope that some people enjoy the fact that we don't. It also just feels like words. I mean, we already say a lot of words too. Hey, if you like us, come by and say hi. And you know, I have kind of some rote things I say at the end. If you like this, check out this, blah, blah, blah. You sure you got to say that sort of thing. I don't know. That like and subscribe just feels so rote. I'm not. If other people want to do it, that's fine. I'm not saying they're doing things that are wrong. Just I don't know. Any thoughts on more videos about board game add-ons like inserts and bling? I just did one this past week on the new Settler stuff, so go check that out. Do you remember when a Dice Star wasn't interested in Kickstarters? I don't know that we ever were not interested in Kickstarters. I was very excited from the beginning about them. But I think that I was not, and still am not, thinking that we should look at Kickstarters as a main focus. Now, we do more than we used to. Crowdfunding is obviously crowdsurfing is a very popular show that we do each week. People certainly want to hear about upcoming Kickstarters, but there comes a point where we need to talk about games that exist. I have a pile of games over here. I got a pile of games up there. I got piles of games over there. And those are games that people can get now. Why are we not talking about them? It's mind-boggling to me when I go look at the YouTube board game thing, and I might be exaggerating, but it feels like 90% of it's about upcoming Kickstarters. And that's all fine, and everyone talks about how great these Kickstarters are, but then the actual Kickstart game gets published, and then, with rare exceptions, the excitement seems to be gone. And it's still weird to me that we're more excited about spending money for a possibility idea, but when that thing shows up, we're not nearly as excited about it. So I will still, of course we'll talk about Kickstarter and all that stuff, but people want to hear about it. And it is interesting to talk about it. But I'll tell you what, I back a Kickstarter and forget. I do, because I want to know about games I can play now. Do you know you challenged 2020 to bring it on at the end of Board Game Breakfast? Yeah. How many overcharged cards do you own now? Is it more than during your original stint with the game? I think you mean overpower? Is it more than when I originally had the game? I don't know. It's close. You're about to come across a game in 10,000 below called Project CIA, The Secret Formula. It's a roll and move game your family still has amazing time with. Hopefully you give it a shout out. Maybe. I don't know. Do you like hummus? It's okay. I've had some good hummus, but most of the hummus I had was just okay. Does the key lime pie is the same as reference to the European lemon meringue pie? No. Lemon meringue and key lime are very different. That's what I thought first. And in fact, some bad key lime pie tastes like lemon meringue pie. But good key lime pie is not that way. I don't really know how to describe it. It's closer to cheesecake, the good key lime pie, than anything else. But yeah, they're in the same family, maybe the same genre, and some key lime pie actually does have meringue on it, which is amazing, but it doesn't have to. Do you watch soccer? If so, do you have a favorite team? I do not. I mean, I can watch a game and be interested in it. I think it's an interesting sport, football, but I don't have a favorite team or anything. What is my favorite outdoor activity? Probably walking. Oh, I like miniature golf. That's usually outdoors. I really like miniature golf. Those are probably it. Let's see here. How many board games have you backed on Kickstarter because you were personally interested in them? A few. But I'm kind of past the personal interest now. I think, would this be a good game for the Dice Tower to review and or put in our library? How's Chief Sokoto doing these days? He's doing fine. I just met him last whoosh, and he was riding the express line at Uska. And so we're talking about that because that line had originally been driving at Schmosh speed, but they were increasing it to see how passengers like that. And they were not increasing the fares right away. They're just going to increase the speed. The problem is it vibrates every, I want to say, hour, 16 minutes, to a point where it kind of phase shifts at a time just a bit. And it's a little disconcerting for some passengers. They said like 1 in 5 passengers got mild nausea from that. So he's riding it to test that out as a scientist. Right. Really, though, there's rumors that robbery is going to happen and all that. And train robberies are like a thing that we see in movies in the Old West. But these Mo trains, the robberies there happen more frequently. Granted, there's millions of these trains out there, but the robberies can happen. And so he's, as part of a covert operation, getting ready to stop one, or at least try to figure out how they are being done. I think it's an organized group. The Vesuvians have been accused of this, but that just seems too obvious to me. But that's just my armchair detective work. It's mostly why he calls me. A little bit of consulting. I gave him my opinion. I have a suspicion that it's the work of nemesis that we both run across in the past. Have you considered moving abroad again? Not currently, with my daughter needing medical care in America, but I could see that happening in the future. You never know. But for now, I'm in Miami. Biggest Kickstarter regret, those stupid suitcases I bought. So annoyed by those. I bought these suitcases that came with their power supplies, and you can plug your USB into your suitcase. We travel so much, so I bought them as Christmas presents for the guys, and then they didn't come out that Christmas. So I said Christmas presents next year, but they didn't come out that year either. So eventually, we got them after I came close to threatening the Kickstarter creator, and they didn't work with the app very well. And then we found out that these batteries are basically not allowed on most of the planes. So it's pretty annoying all around. Is there any game for the Dice Tower library you want but won't get because it's too expensive? I would still try to hunt down a copy of it, I suppose, if I thought it was too expensive. I'm trying to think of the most expensive board games that are out there that people want to play. Star Wars Queen's Gambit, I had a copy. Put that in the library. Maybe y'all can think of some that I'm not thinking of, and I can tell you if they're in the library or not. There's some pretty pricey games in the library. But I can't think of any that I don't have because of price. But it's possible. I could easily buy a gift for you, hat, tie, or key lime. Well, sure, right? You could always buy a hat or a tie or something like that. Of course, you got to hope that it's not one I don't already have. My family buys me a hat often, although I'm trickier to buy hats for because I have an extra large head. Ties, yeah, I guess. Again, it's okay. It's not that big of a deal. Board Game Breakfast, my voice didn't sound so good. Well, sure, but you have to remember, Board Game Breakfast wasn't recorded this morning. It was recorded last week. What is my favorite candle scent? It is key lime vanilla, the combo actually, and that kind is no longer, Yankee Candle's no longer doing it. Right now, I like all the birthday cake, cookie, cinnamon ones. There's also, I like the pine tree Christmas ones and some of the tropical fruit ones. Like peach. I like the smell of peach. There's different ones. I don't like the clean cotton ones that much because they're eh. But there's been different ones. I tend to like the food ones, the gingerbread flavored ones and things like that. Can you explain on how or when you decide to put a game in the essential line? If I find a game I like, I take it to Arcane Wonders, and they don't bring them to me. I bring them to them, and then we decide together. If they don't want to do it, or if it just doesn't work out, or the company doesn't want to work with them, or a designer, so be it. But they're games that I take to them. Are you energized by looking into new tech for the Dice Tower, mics, cameras, live streaming, or have the nuts and bolts moved to the likes of Roy? It is a joint thing by both of us. Roy might bring me something and say, this looks cool, or I'll show something to Roy and say, this sounds like it might help us. So some of the new stuff that we have a Stream Deck and some things that we're using for streaming. That was stuff I hunted down, but Roy has also, like our new overhead camera, that was Roy finding that and getting that set up. So it's like a joint collaboration. When will you downsize your house? I was just reading about that. I read a forum on Reddit, which I really can't say the name of here. But basically it's Am I the Jerk? Where people ask if they're jerks or not. It's not called that quite. And I was reading about this couple who their kids went to college, so they downsized, but their son and daughter, when they came back home, they made them share a bunk bed in a room, and people said that was a very jerky thing to do, that they downsized too early. So there's that, right? I could downsize, and then something like this year, COVID could happen, where the kids might be stuck with you for a while. But I'm not looking to downsize yet. I still have 5 kids at home, which is still a large family. And since we went to a restaurant the other day and they said you can't have a table more than 6. I said, so which of my children should I leave at home? And so the restaurant was nice, and they made room for the 7th kid, or 7th person, which was my 5th kid. So maybe when my next daughter goes to college, which is 2 years away, then I'll have only 4 kids. It will seem like the smallest family ever. Actually, my kids were gone last night, and it was just me and my son and the dog. And I thought, wow, it's weird having 1 kid. I'm really getting off topic. When will I downsize the house? Who knows? Once Broadway is able to tour, which shows did you want to watch with your wife? I think I like to watch the shows that are based on properties I like. Like I would have probably liked to go and see Beetlejuice or Matilda or The Addams Family. Stuff like that interests me. I mean, I get there's the big grandiose ones. I don't want to go watch one that's necessarily a Tony winner. What I mean is in the sense of it's the story of the tragic life of so on and so forth. I kind of want to go to one that's just cheerful and silly and stupid. I probably would want to go to one where I've heard the music before, though, because I think that'd be fun. Of the big grandiose ones, maybe Lion King. How many times have you played Le Havre solo? What do you think of the solo mode? A few times, and I'd rather play it with other people. How often do you sit down and think how to fix a game that you just reviewed? I bet I don't let it consume my time, but I think about it. Do you keep flyers and catalogs that come in games or throw them out? I don't think I've ever been asked that before, but that's a good question that I think a lot of people do. I throw them out immediately. Usually, sometimes I'll look at them and I'll go, out of date. It used to make me laugh because Rio Grande was always seemed to be 2 years behind with theirs. Or sometimes you get an old Rio Grande thing and you look back and be like, man, most of these games are out of print. Who does it the most? It's usually, let's see, the Rio Grande had them in it. Fantasy Flight usually has one in it. Not too many companies have like a whole flyer in them. Those are the 2 ones I know that have those flyers in them. The little advertisement stuff, I check all that stuff. I got a token here. It says Go Deeper. And this was a token for Dinogenics, advertising the expansion. So we played Dinogenics this week, and I was looking at the token. I'm like, this is advertising the expansion. The expansion's right here. Why do I even have this token? So I took it out of the game, and then I'm letting it sit here for no reason. I'm going to probably throw it away. Who do you try out new games for reviews with the most? Probably Jason, actually, because he'll play anything once. I play a decent amount with Roy and maybe my kids. I try a lot of games out with them. What do you think is your biggest flaw? I care too much. No, this is not a public thing, I think. I know my flaws. I don't know if I have one biggest flaw, but I know what my flaws are. I know I'm very impatient, for example, but I think that's one of many flaws I have. I blame it, I'll be like, I'm a Yankee. Yankees are impatient, but it's a Vasel thing, right? I'm impatient. But yeah, there's probably quite a few that I need to work on. Key lime hummus sounds gross. Have I heard that Brianna Pratchett is writing a new Choose Your Own Adventure book, first female in the series history? I never actually knew who the authors of those books were, and I also did not know that they were rewriting them, so that's cool. Ever gone fishing? Yes. I didn't really care for it when we were a kid. My dad did not like fishing at all. So me and my brother we got poles. We got enthused because a guy at church and his son liked fishing, so we wanted to fish, so we got fishing poles. This guy took us fishing like 2, 3, or 4 times. It was okay. We caught some fish. I caught some bluegill. One time we went down to the creek and we fished forever and never caught anything. One time, though, I really did enjoy myself, was we went to the Susquehanna River in Pennsylvania, and we waded out in the water. The river, it was a drier season, and I went out to here and fished, and I actually caught something. And at that point, I was scared because I'm pulling on this fish, and the fish is swimming around. I'm like, the fish could come get me. I'm in its territory. I was just 13 at the time, but that was really fun. We did it. Looking back, it's interesting. We did it like a couple miles. Maybe it was more than a couple miles, but it seemed like we were really close to 3 Mile Island. So if there's anything weird about me today, that fishing trip was the time. Do you think these mega Kickstarters, lots of minis and stretch goals, make you more reluctant to play them? That can happen sometimes, right? You get it and you're just like, wow, it's so overwhelming. Where do you even start? What to do? I certainly get that. Do you think that hype influences your judgment and your reviews, positively or not? I don't know if it influences. It does sometimes. There's no way around it. When a game is super hyped, it's really hard not to look at that game and say, you better live up to that hype. I don't know that a game I like it more because it's hyped. I usually am harder on the game when that hype comes out. I try not to be, but it's an easy thing to do. Is there a really good miniature golf course near you? I don't think so. I don't even think there's a good miniature golf course in Orlando. You would think there would be. I've gone to a lot of them. They all look cool from a distance. There's Pirates Cove. Actually, there's like 3 Pirates-themed ones. There's the one in the Universal Boardwalk looks pretty good, but I don't find any of them that exciting. When I was a kid, my dad took me to several up north, and there's some in Lancaster area that were just amazing. I'll never forget them. I like the kind of thing where hit it through the windmill and then all these things. But there's so many just straight up bad miniature golf courses. It boggles my mind. There should, on a miniature golf course, shouldn't have a single boring hole. You'll get to hole 1 or whatever, and it'll be like, oh, hit it here. There's a block in the middle. You couldn't have put any more effort into it. And I love the ones where, there's a straightaway here, but there's this really cool roundabout thin thing you could hit through. That's cool. But then there's some of them where going through that thin thing isn't any better. It's there, but not for any good reason. That bothers me. And then there's a lot of miniature golf courses which are just simply not kept very well. You go through them and you're like, ugh, this is just a very low maintained one. I remember when I was a kid, we went to one. I don't know where it was. Again, it was in either Lancaster or Myrtle Beach. I don't remember where. But we were going through it. There was a peacock walking around and streams, and oh, it was so cool. I will not forget that miniature golf course, except I forget where it was. I really liked that one. Also in Niagara Falls in Canada, where there was a miniature golf course that it's underground that has like these sorcerer things, and there's colored lights and like black light effect and stuff. That one was pretty good. I really liked that one. But like I said, most of the ones in Orlando don't seem to be that fantastic. And I don't know if there's a single one in Miami. Maybe there is. I don't know. I just have such high expectations for miniature golf. And I've seen such really cool ones in my life, but they all seem to be up north. People in general are less content with what they have than what they believe will give them happiness. The secret is to enjoy the journey, not the destination, and enjoy what you have. Yeah, you know, that stupid Adam Sandler movie where he had that remote control. As dumb as that movie is, there is a point to that, right? Like, I used to sit there and, like, look forward to getting married. I could not wait to get married. Then I look forward to having a kid. I could look forward to having a kid in college. Now I'm at the age where I can look forward to having kids out of the house. You know, whatever it might be. I look forward to retirement. I look forward to the end of COVID. But I can't look forward all the time. You can't live your life like that either. I can't live my life waiting for the weekend, waiting for tonight, waiting for the new episode of whatever to come out. There's nothing wrong with looking forward to stuff. I certainly like doing that. But we have to enjoy time or it's going to pass us by. So let's get off Philosophy 101. How comes your title says August 31, 2020? Is that the title of the video itself? That probably just means we haven't changed it. We'll get it fixed, I'm sure. Let's see here. Do you think you were too hard on Dice Tower Gang during your Tom Reacts, or did they deserve it? Man, I don't know what we have to do here. Like put up a big sign that says, almost everything we say about each other is a joke. Unless it's a compliment, then it's probably serious. It's like some people text me like, Tom, do you know they're making this Tom is Wrong video? Yes. This is my channel. You know, I know what's going on. Maybe it was my idea because it's not a big deal. We make fun of each other all the time. This is a weird thing to me. I know there's a lot of people who don't do that. And there's definitely some cultural things here. When my wife first, she came to my house, you know, when we first were dating, and after meeting my family, she said, do you guys like each other? After we had played a board game, I was like, yeah, we just yelled at each other the whole time. It was fun. But that's just how we were. And her family does not do that. Her family does not mock each other, make fun of each other, you know, snipe with one another. That's just how I operate. And that's how we are in the Dice Tower studio. It happens off camera all the time. We're always joking and trolling each other and having a good time. Yeah, I mean, things could get serious, I suppose, but they don't. But even if they were, we, and especially, I say we, but for sure, me, I would not bring that online. There are people on the internet, I have a huge problem with things that they've said and done. I'm not mentioning it on my channel. And if you don't hear me poke fun of something about somebody, that doesn't mean that I actually am annoyed about it. But if I do poke fun at somebody about something, that means I'm not. And it's a cultural thing, so I got to be careful about that. Sometimes we might sound like we're going too far to some people. I've had so many people like, why don't you like Stephen Bonacor? And it's like, well, because it's a joke. You know, you guys seem to be really annoyed at each other in that video. We weren't. So. Why isn't there a playlist for the daily chats? I suppose there could be, but Would someone want to go through and watch them all in order? I don't know. I feel like they're a moment of time. What about the jacket with iPad pockets? Yeah, that's true. But I actually wore that jacket. That's stupid. I don't get me wrong. Man, I backed some dumb Kickstarters. It sounded cool in theory. Now, I still wore that jacket. It was fine. But the suitcase, we don't use them now. They're literally sitting here in the studio. Fortunately, I didn't buy the suitcase. I just bought the carry-ons. But mine is sitting here in the studio, and I never use it because it has that battery in it. And we could take the battery out, but then it's just a normal, dumb suitcase. And my Samsonite suitcases are much better. Why does morning have to be the first thing in the day? Because you want to start the day with the best part of the day, which is the morning. What is your hat size? I might get you a no strings attached gift. I would prefer never to get a strings attached gift. My hat size is XL. It's, I don't know, something in 3/4, whatever. It's the largest size almost always. Although apparently there is an XXL, which is bigger than my head. So I don't have the biggest head in the world. What kind of dog do you have? I have a black German Shepherd, and with the exception of last night, I like her so much that I've already decided in the future, and hopefully this is like 13 years from now or however long a dog lives, I'm getting another black Labrador. I'm getting another, I like Labrador Retrievers. I'm getting another black German Shepherd. I like her that much. I like the fact that she is so, people told me that's like my whole life I grew up almost with a negative review of German Shepherds because the only time I saw them was when the police officer would bring them to school and they would show them take down the guy and you saw them and the German Shepherds in other people's yards would bark at you and they just looked fierce and mean. But they do bark for sure. But they are not fierce and mean, especially if you're not trained that way. And man, that dog likes our family. But that dog really loves me, and I really like that. It's funny. I go downstairs. The dog follows me down. I'm like, oh, I forgot something. I go back up. The dog follows me back up. I go back down. The dog comes back down. I don't hate that. I like that the dog sleeps outside my bedroom, guarding me at night. We fight. I don't want to really fight the dog. Like I have like these puppets and stuff, and we fight and go at it, and it's fun. Yeah, she's annoying, but she's still a puppy too. She's not even 6 months old yet, is she? Maybe she's 6 months. How long have we been stuck inside? I don't think she's 6 months yet. And she's gonna get bigger too. But and she's beautiful. All right, I'm getting off topic here. I'm not here to hear about my dog. Which of my kids should I leave at home? Master passive aggressive. Well, not particular. Okay, I'm not trying to be passive aggressive. It's just kind of sometimes exceptions need to be made. I will follow the rules, but sometimes you gotta just. Did I see a school rock musical? I've not. I've heard it, and I've seen the movie. I've heard the School Rock musical, and I liked it. I liked the music a lot, but I've not seen it. And I just find it unfortunate that most musicals aren't on TV or streaming, right? It's almost impossible to find it. Amazon Prime had a channel for musicals, and they put up like 20, and half of them were obscure. It's a terrible channel. I unsubscribed. I watched all the ones that were interesting, and then I was done. Such a waste. Like, why does no one go in these and record them and put them online? Especially now. They had to be recorded, right? Somewhere. But you have fun trying to find some of these. I guess they need to maintain that, $150, $200 ticket. What's my favorite American-style Chinese takeout dish? Yeah, that's the truth of it. For the American-style Chinese, the more the better. So, like, if they have something, when I was a kid, there was one called Buddha Jumped Over the Wall at the restaurant. Nowadays, they got Happy Family or Four Seasons. Those are my favorites usually. They have a bunch of stuff in it. If I'm getting just one thing, I like the double cooked pork a lot, or shrimp and broccoli. What about rule books in other languages? I'm assuming you're about throwing them out. I throw them out. I know some people will think that's a waste, but I just don't want to have too many things laying around. And it's really annoying when you open a box and there's 3 rule books and you're like, which one do I want? And then you set the other 2 aside. And then sometimes you might grab the wrong rule book. You're like, wait, this is the wrong language. Just get rid of them. I mean, unless I'm going to sell it to somebody in Italy, that rule book's not going to do the next person any good either if I get rid of the game. Any chance Miami Dice can come back with yourself, Z, and either Mike or Roy? Well, we are doing that to some degree. We're doing it once a week at this point in time, where we pick a game and we're reviewing it together. We've been doing it now for several weeks. Last week we did Tidal Blades. This week we'll be doing Fort, and hopefully you'll see us do it with more games as time goes by. It's not going to be called Miami Dice. We're going to name it something else. You'll see. Eventually I'll have a name. I use those ads for when I make board game birthday cards for people. Ah, that's good. I also used to do something similar when I was a teacher, advertising my board game club. I would always cut out the pictures from those catalogs. Yeah, that's what they're good for. They're good pictures, and they're cheaper than printing out your own pictures. When you were in your early 20s, did you think you'd be working with board games? No. Or did you think your career was going to be going another direction? Well, let's see. Let's walk through the timeline here. I went to college when I was 17, but I turned 18 a week later because remember my birthday's in September. So at that point I was planning on opening the largest grocery store in the world, and I would have. I have the gumption, it would have happened. But I decided that I didn't want to do that. So then I switched over to missions. I was planning to be a missionary, which I was. So I didn't even think about board games being a full-time job until years and years and years later, and even that was a pipe dream for a while. So no, not my early 20s. Do I think the Hero Quest Legacy game will happen? Is that a prospect that excites you? I don't know, and sure. What do you think of a dating app specifically for board gamers? It seems like a bad idea. My wife and I do not play that many games together. We play some. Nowadays, our main focus of playing games is escape room games. I'll be like, hey, you want to play escape room game? And, oh, yeah, she's always in for that. But we don't play that many games. Now, granted, part of that's because I play games with my kids more often. But we don't have to have the same likes for us to have a wonderful, terrific, loving relationship. I don't know that I would, if I had to be back in a dating scene, which I'm so glad I don't, that I would look in the board gaming world for a mate. I think I would just look anywhere. So I suppose it could work. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I just wouldn't be interested in it. Why is commenter Bob so unhappy? Oh, it's a really long story. I'm getting tons and tons of questions on Sam. I've talked to Sam like a month and a half, 2 months ago, and when I talked to him, he was fine. Last time I talked to him. I see him post on Facebook a lot. He seems fine there. But you can always go and bug him yourself if you want. I just haven't caught up with Sam lately. That's all. I run a gaming group in London, UK, and we have new people joining. How do you suggest steering them towards lighter games so they don't get put off and never come back? I just do that. They come in and I'm like immediately, hey, you want to try Century Spice Road or Ticket to Ride, or you find something that's not too heavy. And that keeps people from being overwhelmed for sure. Can you play real golf? I don't think I ever have. I've only played miniature golf. My dad took me to a driving range, and I was so bored by that. My dad loves golf, but I was so bored by it. I was like, Dad, I don't, that was one thing. I think my dad was, somewhat disappointed that I never wanted to play golf. I don't think he was that disappointed because it was expensive to play golf, but I had zero interest. Do you think that the lockdown pushing people to play more online has had an effect on the sales of physical games? I do not. Game sales have done well as far as I can tell. Will people stick to online or back to physical when it's over? I think people will still play online, but I can't speak for everyone, but I know a lot of people who were that I'm part of that group where it's like as soon as we don't have to play online, we're done. I don't play much online anymore anyway. I play Werewolf online, and that I might stick to doing when it's over. Which Final Fantasy games have you played? 1. 3. It's been a long time. I don't know if I played 3 or 4. Definitely 6. Oh, 5. Definitely 6. 6 I played through multiple times. 7 I played through more times than all the rest put together. 8. Halfway through 9. 10. That's it. I haven't played anything past 10. Mostly because my systems are always farther behind. Now I'm stuck with whatever comes out on the iPad. Have you played the Monster Mini Golf Course? I don't know what it is. Monster Mini Golf Course. Where is it? Oh, wait, is this the one in Canada that I went to? Yeah, that's the one that I said was in Niagara Falls that we played, or in the Canadian side. Or at least that's what it looks like. I don't remember the name of it, but maybe that's what it was. It was very fun. Do you always play to win or play to enjoy the game? Enjoy the game. If you could screw someone over to win, but it may impact your enjoyment of the game, if you did, then would you? Probably not. Although I did mess Roy over in our live playthrough last Tuesday. Does this man have to like Banneker? Oh, no, no one has to. No, sir. Will you reach my question before the end of the Q&A? Nope. Samsonite, I was way off. Look, there are some things in life I'm finding that the better quality you have, the happier you are. Shoes is a good example of that. It is worth paying for a good pair of shoes. I would argue that hats are that way. A good quality hat is much better than a cheap hat. My high quality fedoras, they are so good compared to cheap ones. Vacuum cleaner, you are well off buying a quality, good vacuum cleaner. And what are we talking about here? What was the whole point of this? Oh, suitcases. I'm sorry, Samsonite suitcase is amazing. 10-year guarantee. The durability mixed with the lightness of them, it's good. They're not cheap. But then again, luggage isn't really that cheap anyway. And they last much better than those cloth ones by a mile. I really like Samsonite suitcases. I'm trying to think what else now. I got on the subject of things where paying more, like the more expensive stuff, is just worth getting. Because there's a lot of things in life that I don't feel that strongly about. Like I don't feel that strongly about that with maybe a phone or a car. like, where is the quality? Like most food, I don't care if I buy the higher quality. Sometimes it matters with some foods, but not all foods. Like generic soup to me is just as fine as Campbell's soup, But there is vacuum cleaners for sure, though. You are buying a cheap vacuum cleaner, you'll regret it for sure. I think cheap soda pop is just as fine as buying the good brands. I know, anathema and all that, but that's interesting. New number one thing Tom is wrong about: morning is not the best time of the day. Well. It would be fun to meet your dog during a Q&A. It'd be weird because my dog's not here. My wife brought the dog over last week at one point. Thank you for the nice words here. I got jaded, says MTV. So I only buy a couple games a year. Aren't you jaded? I am not. I don't know why. I'm just not. Burrito Supreme, when is Werewolf coming back? Werewolf's never. Well, I didn't do any Werewolf the 1 week because I was taking my daughter to college. But I just recorded 2 more episodes over the weekend, so we got more coming back this week. You'll see one, I think tomorrow actually, and then you'll see one later on in the week. So don't worry about that. There's more coming. I've never tasted a canned soup half as good as my home cooked soup. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about buying the higher quality thing over the lower quality thing. And many times going to the dollar store, buying a cheap one is worth it. There's just sometimes I think it's not worth it. Like I said, I think shoes is one of those times where you're better off paying for a quality pair of shoes. Generic peanut butter. Yeah, that's I've heard that. I'm not a big peanut butter guy, so there's that too. Oh, it is 1:02. It's time for me to end this, folks. So I appreciate everyone showing up here and having a good time. Thanks so much for coming on and asking questions. We got more live stuff coming. We got a live play tomorrow morning. We have on Wednesday, we got crowd surfing live. On Thursday, and also Dice Tower tonight. And I believe there's a few other. Oh, I could just pull up the schedule and look at it. I'll tell you what's coming live. Dice Tower tonight on Wednesday. Tomorrow, Atma RPG card game. Live play at 10 a.m. Crowd surfing at 2 on Wednesday. Board game breakfast live on Thursday. And our top 10 trick-taking games. And Stella will be playing Between Two Cities for No Strings Attached at 9 o'clock. Graham will be playing Merlin Beast Quest on Friday at 9 o'clock. And that's all the live stuff on Friday. And then Saturday, nothing, and Sunday, nothing. But I mean, I'm saying nothing, but there's still a ton of game reviews and things coming up. So, like I said, we got Werewolf and 10,000 Avila, etc. Anyhow, until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Q&A on the Dice Tower. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.